How is the government's plan to recruit more bobbies onto the beat, getting on? There's a survey of officers who train new recruits, and it's painted a truly damning picture of a new and, to be frank, pretty hopeless cohort of trainee officers. Listen to the words of this particular supervisor. We are supporting student officers who can't pass the fitness test, get anxious talking to the public, can't speak to people on the telephone, literally run away from any physical violence, usually leaving their tutor at risk, and even one who knocked on the door to speak to a victim but then ran away before it was answered, leaving his tutor scratching his head. In some forces, a fifth of those who start training now never qualify. Huge waste of taxpayers' money. The research by the Police Federation includes accounts of parents calling senior officers to ask for their trainee police officer children to be given the day off for their birthday. Joining me now, a former senior officer who has previously expressed strong doubts about the ability of new police recruits to do the job we expect them to, and that is Kevin Hurley, who joins us now, as you see. Kevin Hurley, thanks for joining us. What do you make of this report?
Well, I know it myself. The bottom line here is you get what you pay for, and you also get whatever the HR people or the recruitment planners decide to do. So we've got a situation now where police basic starting pay in real terms is about £7,000 below what it was 7 or 8 years ago. That makes it much less attractive. Combine that with the fact that everyone who comes in now has to do part-time study whilst doing their duties to finish degrees off as part of, frankly, some nonsensical idea developed by the organisation called the College of Policing to professionalise the police. Other basic stuff that's come in, along with the desire, quite rightly, to make our police more emotionally intelligent, if you like, more thoughtful about conflict resolution, is they've taken away some of the real basic things that happened in recruit training. In fact, they've taken away recruit training as we know it. You don't now go for 16 weeks full-time at a training centre. More important, you're not closely supervised by regular serving trainers to see if you've got what it takes in mock-up incidents. So these questions of do people run away or not, or how do they manage conflict, are tested and weeded at an earlier stage. Also, senior officers like myself who've been around for a bit are not involved in the initial interview. I mean, I used to run interviews on the basis of thinking, can this person stand at Lewisham Clock Tower or outside the Hammersmith Palais at 11 o'clock at night when mayhem breaks out and everyone starts fighting drunkenly? Will they keep the nerve? Can they manage a situation till the help comes? Basic tests of what you have to do as a cop on the street. If you can't get a sense for that, I know you need from your gut reaction almost to work out what you've got in front of you. Never mind all the assessment centres. By chatting to someone, ask them about where they come from, their background. Have you played a bit of rugby? Have you been in the army? Did you play netball at school? Male or female? What have you done? You can get an idea of how much inner steel they've got to do the job. But on top of that, in recruit training, you used to compulsorily have to go in the boxing ring with one of your fellow candidates for a session, and you also had to go in the wrestling ring with one. And the rationale behind it was quite simple. A lot of people have joined the police or do join the police, and they've never had a punch in the face or never been bounced on the floor. One thing I can actually guarantee you is that if you join the police, you will get punched in the face, you will get slapped round the head, and you will be knocked to the floor a number of times in your career. In fact, is the only job...
Do you think that's where we come to the absolute nub of it? Do you think that's really
Yes.
where we come to the nub of it? Because I'm totally in agreement with you.
Yes.
An old pal of mine who became a police officer and actually became a successful one, in his first 2 years said, you'll get filled in 2 or 3 times. That's a sort of going rate. And I just wonder now, in today's workplace, whether that is a compact that a lot of people feel is acceptable. I think you and I, many of our viewers, know that the world doesn't really change. And if we want our police to protect us, they're going to have to get grappling down and dirty. That's what's required to keep people safe. But I'm just not sure we're producing the skill sets that are necessary that are required to do that job always?
Well, Colin, you're absolutely right. I don't think we are. Yes, let's get people to think about how they make their decisions, conflict resolution. But the bottom line on it is, if you are not able to grapple, to fight, to take a punch, get stuck in support of your colleagues, and frankly don't understand, if you get knocked to the floor and don't get back up again fast and get stuck in, you'll get battered. You can't actually do the police work. And what these uniformed officers are doing, we see in front of us. A lot of stuff, yes, is walking around, chatting to people, trying to resolve stuff verbally and in discussions. But there comes a time when you face that violent, large 16-year-old child who may carry a weapon, where you're going to have to get stuck in. Or the 49-year-old drunken wife beater who you have to wrestle on the 8th floor of some apartment block. There's no way around it. You're going to have to get stuck in. I can tell you, even in my career, it was not... I had colleagues run away or back off from me. But I think now, because they're not being sorted for that, they don't actually get involved in grappling and be punched in a wrestling ring or boxing ring. A lot of people join and they don't understand that's what's going to happen. And if you don't stand up and fight back, you're either going to get hurt or that bad person will get away.
Kevin, we've got to leave it there. We're out of time. What a shame. It's a really important conversation. We'll continue it some other time. Kevin Hurley, thanks very much.